But I want to be chill.
Okay.
All right, let's just fucking start this.
I mean, just like this. I mean, this is it. Hey.
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 Hey. Hey,
everybody. And do you want to start?
No, I don't. You can start.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Untitled Podcast. This is episode
6. Should read it right there.
6. That took me a while. They're
your fingers.
Yeah. I don't know how they operate.
I can't help you with that.
So, what are we doing today?
Well, we're going to talk about the things that you've
written into the document.
Yep. And then we're going to also talk about the things that you've taken from other people.
All right. So, yeah, our main topic is leftovers.
Yeah, pretty much. It's nothing but leftovers.
Awesome. So we've got a number of segments we're going to get to today, one of which is the Q&C update, and followed by This Week in Kickstarter. What's it called?
The Wick. Just waiting for the finger guns to come out.
I'll holster those bad boys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And then we're going to do our main topic, which is an interview with...
Don't say it. Don't say his name.
With?
Renaud. I don't know what his last name is. That's the problem.
Bartens. Bartens.
In the interview, doesn't he actually say his name?
Actually, in the interview, he says I pronounced his name very well.
Oh, God. Okay.
I'm not saying that's how I always pronounce it, but yes. So we'll get to that. That's the run of show for today. That's what we're going to be doing.
So let's talk about studio flats.
Yeah. So
it just feels like more work for me.
It's actually less work. It was so as you guys may or may not know, our D&D session features backdrops of a tavern sort of look, and those are on printed fabric.
Yeah, cloth.
And they just hang behind our people. And we...
Well, and this set back here...
This set, yeah.
I made with a nail gun.
Did I not help you with this?
Exactly. You helped. You aided. You gave me a 1d4 in assistance.
Oh, I provided way more than that. Yeah, D6 at least.
You drove to Home Depot. You drove to Lowe's. That's about it. Because What? I painted these.
Did you saw them?
No, I didn't saw them because you cutting your own fingers off, that's your problem. I need my fingers. I need my fingers to make money.
All right.
Anyway, so where were we? Thomas picked up
a friend
studio flats.
So a friend of mine, he's decided to shut his production company's office down, and he had a studio in the back, and he actually offered us to move in there.
It was a cool space.
Cool space. Actually, it was a very hot space.
Yeah, it has no air conditioning.
No air conditioning or insulation or any quietness in the studio, which is not conducive to anything that we would do here.
Mm-mm.
So anyway, so he's shutting all of that down, and he had a whole bunch of flats that he had made. So I went and I picked up 9 4-foot by 10-foot flats.
So essentially the outsides are made, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The structure is made, but are they skinned?
Yeah. I mean, it looks just like the blue ones, except for their black.
Okay. Which means that we have to repaint and put whatever design and skinning on that we want.
So, so eventually, that actually reduces the amount of time that it will take to redo the studio look when we get to that point.
Because somebody doesn't have to build them, square them, measure them, square them again, glue them,
nail
gun them, leave them to dry, come back, skin them, swear 75 times, go outside, come back.
Somebody does have to take all of the staples out of the side. And
that's easy.
Like every 2 feet.
That's easy. I can do staples.
You say that now.
Yeah, well,
you say that like someone who has never pulled out a lot of staples.
I pulled out all of the staples in the upstairs room when we pulled the carpet up and we redid the floors.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so don't give me sounds like somebody who never did staples.
We had a hole in our...
It was awesome.
Yeah. You look down from the upstairs into the kitchen. We had termites.
Yep. Unfortunately, I couldn't, my whole dream of that was to then just put some sort of bucket type container so that I could lower it down to the kitchen and ask you for beer and then just bring it back up. But that never happened because we covered the whole, 2 days?
Yeah.
Anyway, home repairs.
Anyway, yeah. So eventually, sometime this summer, the cost to redo our studio has just dropped significantly. Mm-hmm. And we are really excited about that. So now it's just going to be pretty much labor and design.
And paint.
And paint.
Because I don't know if we have any paint left.
We'll have to get some paint.
Cool.
Some rollers and some drops and things.
Yep.
Anyway, that's it. So that's the update. We got some free stuff. They're going to be in the van until we start this. We're going to have to start it soon.
Anyway. Okay, so...
It's a whole big thing.
How was it running Exalted Vales, the D&D 5e campaign soon to be on Kickstarter?
So Exalted Vales... It was. I think it was fun. I think the encounters were fun. I missed some of the elements that were in there. For instance, there were supposed to be more crabs. So
I've got comments. I don't think anybody wants more crabs.
This is probably interesting. No. Do you not? What about crab legs?
Crab legs are very different than saying, I want more crabs.
Anyway, so there were supposed to be more crabs. Those crabs are probably coming out into the episode.
Just let the crabs go. Just let them go.
All right, fine. Maybe there'll be small crabs.
Oh, God, who cares? Whatever.
Okay.
One thing I did like about playing in it is the fact that we are level 2 characters. And I found that the encounters were nice and short. So it wasn't, a battle of attrition where you're like, this guy has 212 hit points and I just have to sit there and hit him with my sword forever until he dies.
And I think as a general rule, that's why I like playing low level D&D. I know other people don't, but
you don't get the things. I
know, but I like playing low level D&D because your combats are short, you're vulnerable to instant death
kind of.
If you make a bad decision or taunt the wrong person, it's not good.
Does a 13 hit? Of course it does. For 16 points of damage, of course I'm dead. You know, it can be that fast.
And I think that I just need to run more medium and higher level D&D to be able to make it more fun when there's more hit points, but they're doing more damage and the bad guys need to be
I don't know. I mean, I think that's something that we can discuss on a different podcast, but I really struggle to see how you would make high-level D&D
quick
fun. Yeah. I was about to say Encounter's fun. Encounter's interesting. That's a whole different thing versus just your standard, like, let's go fight a bunch of bad guys and a wizard.
Right. So
anyway,
so that module, this was mentioned during the stream, that module was written in French. By Mr. Bartens.
Renaud.
And translated into English. And there was a moment in there during the crab session where I made fun of the translation because it was gripped. It was the crab grips you. You are gripped by the crab, and then you are grappled.
Well, and that's the thing is that usually in D&D terms, don't we say you've been grappled or you're grappled. And that is meant to understand that you are a condition. You are specific to condition in D&D 5e.
Yeah.
Whereas you are gripped is not really a condition, especially since I think, and I'll have to look this up, but isn't the grip or something like that like a disease or something?
I don't know what that...
I don't know. Hang on. I'll use the internet.
Let's tell all of our production people that being a grip is a disease. That'll go well.
Have you met grips?
I have. Okay.
Moving on.
Moving on. Anyway, so I looked up a crab stat block. I know we're not moving on. I looked up the crab stat block. You gotta
let the crabs go. Let the crabs go. You need a medication
the monster
for that.
manual. And anyway, so they nowhere in there did it say gripped, but it just said if it hits you, you are grappled. So the fix to that is just to take out the words gripped. Anyway, that is the rest. Okay. One element.
Yes.
In an entire 34-page document that is a weird translation. That is outstanding. That is better than me writing in English, right? Especially if you've read our early newsletters.
Or any of our newsletters. Link below.
Amy has made me start proofreading them before they're sent out, and it's important, and it helps.
Okay, continue.
So anyway,
are we done with your crabs?
I don't know. Are you?
I've had enough of your crabs, sir.
I'm not going to the doctor now, I'll tell you that.
Okay.
All right. So
are we going to go to the Wick?
Let's go to the Wick.
There they came out. I thought you said you were going to holster them.
Those were finger batons.
Anyway, so just to do the crossover, This Week in QNC plus the Wick crossover. We're doing a little crossover here. Exalted Vales is supposed to be launched on Kickstarter starting mid-May is what we were told. Yes. So and probably somewhere around the teens to the early 20s.
Yes, hopefully. There is a link down below that takes you to the landing page right now, or it will take you to the live page once it's live. Mm-hmm. So either way, the link down below is going to work.
Yeah, and a couple things that are interesting about the actual campaign itself is that it is a setting.
Yep.
So it's based on Forgotten Realms. It is...
So it's the Pantheon is based in the Forgotten Realms.
So it's Forgotten Realms adjacent?
Yes. Much like Darylin, our Mage Haven area, you can get to it by ship from the Forgotten Realms.
Okay.
Just by making stuff up, because you're a DM and you can really do anything you want.
Then it is a land that has a lot more mysticism, according to Renaud, and he will explain this a little bit more in the interview. And also, they do have additional classes, archetypes, subclasses, and backgrounds. So they're, and again, too, I've only seen some early stuff, you know, where I've seen the rogue archetype have an additional subclass, and I've seen the barbarian have an additional subclass. And then in our gameplay, we do meet a mechanist.
Yes.
Is how it's pronounced. Wasn't too sure if it was a machinist or not.
It's a mechanist, and it is a full class. Amy called out the designer in our interview, being like, this seems really OP. But I think that you might have been reading like the stuff you get at level 20 and everything's OP
and
at
see,
level 20.
Again, that kind of goes back to the whole, you like playing second level characters, and I agree it is fun, but I do like some of the things you actually get, like some of the things you actually earn in some of the classes. I mean, that's why you take a specific class, and that's why you take a specific subclass, so that, you know, your Divine Soul Sorcerer can fly at level 15. I know how much you hate it.
Ridiculous. No character's ever going to go above level 15 in my campaigns.
Okay. I just want to fly. Anyway, so.
Hey.
The Wick. We jump right into actual
Yeah, we're halfway
wiki
through the
stuff.
Wick at this point.
No, we're not. So we're going to jump halfway through wiki stuff here.
All right.
You got to scroll it, though. I can't touch the wheel.
So we were going to start off with an idea that I had one day, and I was like, oh my God.
Except that this is somebody else's idea that they've already done once. So
I was like,
successfully.
I have this idea. This is awesome. Let me start looking this up.
And then use the internet and you found what?
Then actually I got a targeted ad.
So your computer's listening to you.
Yes.
Got it. I understand.
So Journey to Beryls Reach. This is a
DM-less.
It's a DM-less 5e campaign. I wouldn't actually call it DM-less because it appears that when you play it, everybody ends up being the DM.
What? You look at me like
that's what I got out of it. But so this isn't the same idea that I had.
Okay.
It is similar.
Okay. Well, why don't we save your idea?
And let's talk about what is Journey to Beryls Reach.
Exactly. So it is for 2 to 6 players. Like you had said, like Thomas had said, it's the 5e adventure, and it's a card deck. And so you get 3 decks with 27 encounters. And so essentially you get combats, you get puzzles, you get you know what I mean, challenges and things like that. And you lay the cards out, and you're right. If somebody chooses an encounter, if somebody's like, it's my turn to do an encounter, you do have to do the storytelling piece of it. And you do get like the monster stats and things like that. So you're the one who's responsible for running those things, and the rest of the players have to participate.
Right. It seems a lot more like there's a rotating DM than say the Arkham Horror card game.
Yes.
Right. So the Arkham Horror card game has a lot of story elements that we have to read, that you have to do. But it doesn't ever feel like there's one person that's the DM.
No, because the card deck is the DM. So
right.
I forgot what the cards are that we pick in the Mythos phase. What are those called?
encounter cards.
Okay, I was going to say, if you say mythos cards, I'm going to smack you. But to me, those are the DM, because we run the game and we know that it has to, like, you have to, like, you know, resolve any issues. Then you have to, like, choose your cards, and you have to play your this and do, you know, and then you pick the cards, and the cards are the DM. So you just read the cards and do what the cards tell you. So essentially the game itself is the DM in this circumstance, where this feels like you need to have somebody responsible to do it. And I think the reason why is just because everybody can't have the monster stats. Otherwise, there's no point in it. Right. You know, and that's why somebody has to be the DM each turn.
Yeah. So so this actually looks pretty cool. Our friends over at the DAT Network. Yep. Which started off as Dragons and Things, and then they have expanded out. They actually did a playthrough.
9 months ago.
9 months ago.
So it's on their Twitch channel. And so if you go back and watch some of it, you can see how they're just doing, like, the preliminary campaign. And
so this, I mean, I'm actually going to scroll down to some of this. That's actually the DAT Network, right?
Yep, there's a link on the Kickstarter page.
So this is cool. So, you know, a print and play version for $20 gets you started. And then you've got, so it actually comes in a box rather than just a deck of cards, unlike my idea. So, you know, I mean, it's just, I mean, very, very cool. And then there's different campaigns. Is that right?
Yes.
Stretch goals?
Yep. There are 3 decks, 4 campaigns, you know what I mean? Or I'm sorry, 3 campaigns that you could play. And then there are additional things. Nice. Additional decks.
So, I mean, definitely interesting and cool. And
here's a question. I feel like this is something you and I would play at home. Yeah. Or at least test.
Yeah. Something where if we're like, I'm bored, I don't want to play a competitive board game. You know, maybe, you know, and I want to play D&D, but I don't want to run D&D, right? So this would be great to be like, oh, no, here you go. Pull a couple encounters, go through them. You're reading them. And as a team, you're figuring out what to do.
Or would you rather play something like, where is that? Pathfinder game or
Pathfinder or Dragonfire?
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, maybe. I think this would have probably be more like Arkham in the fact that you're not just doing the mechanics of a game. This feels like you're playing D&D. Whereas Pathfinder, once you play through a number of the decks, the mechanics are the same.
But that's because it's a card builder, or it's a deck builder.
It's a deck builder, but so you're constantly being, you know.
The thing is to win in order to build your deck, to have a kick-ass character. Yeah. You know, which is what you hate because you refuse to play 15th level characters who can fly. Okay. All right. Is that all we have to say about this before we get into another argument about about which level's the best level? 4? 5. Okay. Because you get a stat bump or a feat. Yes. It's a break on 3rd level spells. 5, 5th level, best level. Yeah, I suppose because aren't your cantrips now you get that 2d8? Yeah. Or the 2d whatever your spells are. Yeah. Okay. That's it. I'm going on record. 5th level. I kind of agree. Favorite level. Yeah. But I also disagree because at 5th level, okay, never mind. Let's talk about Kickstarter. All right. Sorry. And this is it here? Is it here? Click some buttons, see what happens. There you go. So this one, I want you to talk about this one. Okay. You found this one. Yeah, so I simultaneously think I stumbled on it both in Kickstarter and on Twitter. So Thomas and I were at some con, I don't know, and did we play with Elise Teague or did we stream? Just drinking with her. Yeah, okay, sorry, I just was drinking with her. Anyway, and so she's created games, she's written books about gaming, and so this gentleman who is doing this Academy of Adventures Kickstarter is one of her friends, and she was promoting him on Twitter. And then I realized that I actually had this up in Kickstarter and was going to look at it later that day, so I, decided to stop what I was doing and go take a look. And so this gentleman who does this, he is a teacher, camp counselor, and obviously has played D&D for quite some years. His name is Richard Molina Weber, and he also does game design. And so he is running a camp for kids. And so it is it's a 5-day camp. So it's a 1-week long camp. The party of 5, he runs beginner and advanced, as well as like a kids and adults camp. And essentially it's all over Zoom. You meet for 2 hours and you learn how to play D&D. And if you were in the advanced camp, you learn a couple more advanced techniques plus how to DM. How to DM, narrative storytelling. That's in the advanced class. This sounds pretty cool. So 2 hours a day for
this
1
camp.
week. Yep.
For 1 week. I actually, when you were telling me about this stuff, it was the agenda or like the weekly schedule that I thought was awesome.
Okay.
So that's up right there. If you want to. So Monday.
What did you like about it?
Stories together.
So it's telling stories together is Monday.
Right.
So I'm curious to find out what exactly does he mean by that? Is that talking about how to tell a cooperative story? Is it the manners? Is it like the components of it? Is it understanding your role in a cooperative game?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe we should ask.
Yep. I was about to say, I kind of feel like if I had any time, I'd sign him and be like, let's play.
Yeah. So it'll be like in the adults class. Like, do you have kids? No.
Where are your kids? Right next to me.
Tuesday, getting started with D&D. Wednesday is your first quest.
Yep.
I mean, that must be... So you're probably...
There's probably homework.
Getting started with D&D is probably building characters.
Yep.
You know, figuring all of that stuff out, reading about your character abilities. Wednesday, your first quest. Thursday, developing your character. And of course, Friday is the boss fight and the award ceremony.
I know. I love the fact that there's an award ceremony. That not only do I have a character that I'm going to put in a file folder someplace and lose it for 10 years and then find it again and laugh, but there's also an award ceremony.
As I was cleaning out my dad's house, I found my childhood character, Drank O'Douls.
Shut up. How do you spell that?
Drank.
Drank O'Douls.
Yep, Drank O'Douls.
How old were you when you made that?
Under 12.
Got it. Did you understand that O'Douls was a non-alcoholic beverage? Okay, just checking. Just checking. So why I was interested in this is because most of us don't learn how to play D&D like this.
In a structured setting with a instructor and a teacher.
Yep. And so I would be fascinated to find out how this gentleman is teaching this, like what the structure is, like what you get out of it, how much is their homework. Does he actually give like a PDF of, you know what I mean, the starter set PDF of how to play to the kid, you know what I mean, to everybody? How do you start someone to just say, this is how you play?
I don't know.
Because I learned
if you watch the video, it tells you a little bit about it. You know, you learn to play D&D, go through this, the parents can learn how to play D&D, and he actually then has a module that he's written that takes place in the academy where the parents and those kids can go off and actually run that adventure together.
But I learned how as an adult. So I learned from you and your friends, and it was essentially, here, read this book, here, make a character, then we'll go ahead and like fix your character, and then we'll just go and play. And you just sort of follow along. You don't really, like, it wasn't very structured. It was just read this.
Yeah, go off and do it on your own.
Yeah.
I think if I were to say, introduce new people now, the starter set with the pre-gen characters is a great place to start. So you say, this is a character that you should read their weaknesses and their strengths and figure out how you can play those things and then make it up, right? So you're not then bogged down with a bunch of feats and, you know, what race do I want to be and what class do I want to be? Starting off with a pre-gen character is a great way to do it. And
again, too, because I learned differently, I would beg to differ in the fact that I don't think I would have learned enough about it. Granted that my first character, I don't remember them, much less do I remember learning anything. But I don't think I would have learned anything about the characters without having to do the research and think about it and try and figure out what kind of character I want. Do I want to min-max this? Like, what do I want to do? And so even now, when I'm like, I haven't played a sorcerer, I want to play a sorcerer.
Right.
I've never read the sorcerer until I played a divine soul sorcerer. Right. And then I went through and read all of the materials on sorcerer and said, okay, so how do I make the mechanics of this class beneficial to my character and work with my character? And then what's my backstory based on the fact that I have these feats and these things that I have to do?
And I think that is daunting for somebody who's never played before. I mean, look at Tassi, right? So Tassi is an actor and he does improv and he is this amazing personality. And on Gloomhaven, he fully envelops, the Cragheart. And
the booming eruption or whatever?
Yeah. No, impaling eruption is Ezra. But he's, he was apprehensive at first about playing D&D, especially on stream, because he's like, I'm I'm not that experienced. And it's just, I think that the overwhelming amount of information when you're first starting. Here's a player's handbook. Even though half of it is spells, it's like, wow, this is a lot of stuff. So breaking it down, I think, is much easier for people to get into it.
So what you learned when you were like 2?
So somewhere between kindergarten and 2nd grade.
Okay.
Probably 1st grade. My brother was 5 years older.
How did you read that? The print on those first, I'm assuming that was like
the first edition, yeah.
The print is like so small. I'm like, how did you even read all of that as a child?
Slowly. When I first started, there was no role playing. It was, what does my character do? I want to go and I want to buy this stuff, or I want to go interact with this. I mean, it wasn't like I was enveloping a character and doing all of this stuff.
I mean, you
it
were
was
6.
Exactly. I'm rolling dice and hitting things or missing things. It was, essentially a board game.
But did you read the books? Did your brother teach you? Like, what was that environment?
No, it was.
Okay, there was no environment. We were in space.
Yeah, it was very like just jump in and go. You know? And I think, and in fact, it was the Red Box beginner set. So we weren't even using the full AD&D rules. We were going through a module that was in the starter set. So even back then, it was the starter set.
Okay. So recommend that for anybody who wants to start playing who hasn't played before, just in general, to just do starter set?
The starter set is fantastic. The 5e starter set. The Essentials kit, it is over there.
Oh, okay.
The 5e Essentials kit then takes it a little bit further and introduces you to making a character, as well as rules for companions, so that you and I could play. Because there would be other companions there to help fill some of the roles that you traditionally need in a party.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyway,
so
we just got far afield.
Kids camp. Yep. It looks cool if you have kids. It actually looks pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah. Seal of approval?
Yeah. What? Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those things where if I was literally doing nothing, I'd be like, can we do this? Anyway.
Can we lurk?
Yeah, kind of.
How creepy would that be?
Can I lurk on your Zoom call?
Find out the password and jump into it. All right, so let's jump on to the next...
Adventures on the High Seas!
The Sea of Legends is a board game that you think is for children.
Wow. Nice. I said that... Never mind. I'm not even going to explain to the audience what we just talked about. Never mind. So this thing, selling like hotcakes. It funded, I don't even know how quick it funded. It was
Ezra backed in. He's a child.
We're all children. I mean, technically we're all children. So when I did look at it the first day it launched, it had already almost like by 2 o'clock or something, it hit like $100,000 on the first day. So it's going to do well. It's a high polished board game.
I'm going to just hit play on this video. We can talk over it because we'll kill the audio on it.
Okay, good.
But look at the production value of this Kickstarter.
Well, this is not their first tabletop game. I mean, these guys made what? Shadowrun?
Okay. You know, the designer of Battletech and Shadowrun, those are two vastly
popular. Yeah. Yeah. And so anyway, what are we talking about with this? Okay, besides just talking about how popular it is, and my favorite part of my video here is the monkey with the shotgun.
Yeah, and you said, "Do you want a monkey with a shotgun in your pocket?" And I said, "No." And she's like, "What do you mean no?" I'm like, "A monkey with a shotgun in my pocket? I don't think he's got good aim, and I'm worried."
Anyway, so let's 3, 2, 1. You know it's all staying, but anyway. Sea of Legends. We're going to probably end up having to play this.
Which is fine. I will play this.
Okay.
Ezra backed it.
Yep, we're going to end up playing it at somebody's house at somebody's party. 1 to 4 players. I think you do get additional players and captains and things like that if they hit their goals, like the expansion goals. But essentially, it's a competitive board game where you are a ship captain, you have a crew, you try and get, I forgot what it's called already. My notes are all a scramble here. It's not intrigue, it's renown. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's underlined because I misspelled it. That's why that's why I don't know what that word was. So your goal is to get like a renown, and you can do that by, I don't know, hiding treasure,
doing stuff,
doing piratey things, whatever. Yeah. Anyway,
you can raid the village.
Mm-hmm. That's the Viking.
Pillage the village? No.
Port.
Raid the port.
Oh my God. Okay. Yes, raid the port. There are also NPCs that are in here, and so even though it's competitive, the other captains you're playing against, you may actually have to join together and join forces in order to like beat the NPCs so that they don't get enough renown and win. It is somewhat story based in the fact that there are 400 unique stories in here.
Okay.
So I suspect that there's a lot of gameplay within this actual board game itself. So it's not like you buy it and poof, that's it. You know, right. It's like, you know, so when you say it's a kid's game, I mean, you have to be an older child in order to understand and appreciate it. It's not right. like, you know, Monopoly or Sorry or any of those games, you know, Candyland, where you just keep going around in a circle.
All right, sounds good. There are fantastic miniatures. Look at this artwork. This artwork is outstanding. I love the design of these cards.
Minis again. Minis all the time.
Yeah. So on my deck of cards, it's going to have a bunch of minis that go with it.
For no reason.
Tokens,
minis, things to pop out, things to spend an hour popping things out.
$155 on an all-in pledge.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that $90 doesn't even come with the minis, I bet. Which
is fine. I mean, you can use a meeple or a token based on the color of the card.
Can you?
Yeah, you can.
The size of those are not minis. Those are giants.
Okay.
Giantinis, as I call them.
They're huge.
Huge.
No. It's, never mind. Anyway.
All right. So this is on Kickstarter right now. They've got obviously a ton of marketing behind them. They don't need our help. We're not going to back it.
No, but I feel like we should mention it because it is popular. I also feel like it's not necessarily my cup of tea. Like, I'll play it with you guys if you're interested in playing it, but I won't be like, I need to have this, because when I'm, you know, on a Saturday afternoon or whatever, I'll be like, let's play this game. This isn't going to be it for me.
It might.
No.
We'll have to play it first.
Sure. I can already tell you it's not my thing.
Okay. I kind of want to play Lords of Vegas still.
Oh, fuck.
Anyway. Okay. This is, so looking at this.
Is Lords of Vegas in here?
No, Ezra took it home.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Looking at this graphic is a perfect lead in to our next Kickstarter, which is called The Arena.
Boo-boo-boo. It's still $15.
$15. 6 backers, though. That's
questionable. $2.50 per.
It's no.
Not even? 2 1/4?
2, yeah.
Okay.
Wow. One person put in 5.
Yep.
Anyway, so this is The Arena. Rapid City, South Dakota. My cousin lives there.
Thanks for the share.
Yeah.
So what else is this about?
So this is an arena battle board game where you take on the role of a gladiator, and you have actions. You have 3 actions. So you can move, you can attack, or you can use your character's special ability. And as you level up through different arena battles, you get new cool maneuvers.
So is it like Gladiator? So it's the end scene in Gladiator is what you're telling me?
Yes.
Copy.
Yes.
And so you have to kill the lions in order to level up, right?
Maybe.
Okay.
This looks like a starfish head creature right here. So
starfish
that's kind
with
of
burning hands.
Yeah, that's
actually, he has both burning hands and it looks like ice knife.
And it looks like he's like flying because there's like exhaust coming out from his robe.
Yeah, it does. It looks like fire and ice are propelling him into the sky.
Shield. Okay, so we are sort of making fun of this, and we shouldn't because it actually looks like it might be a cool game, right? However, there's crayon drawing up top.
It could be the look.
And he's looking for $90,000.
That's a lot. I wonder where those numbers are coming from.
Right. So the designer of this is in high school going off to college. But so this is the game. on Kickstarter, right? So kind of jump back over here, see what this has in Kickstarter.
But again, you're talking about somebody who is probably coloring this in and cutting it out and game testing with his friends. Yeah, because it's Jacob. Yep.
Which is
probably him.
Which is absolutely part of the process.
Yes.
This is at some point that Sea of Legend looks similar to this. Like they started with cutting things out
or stealing it from other board games and just laying it down and just saying, what is this going to look like? Or the fact that they designed it on InDesign, then had it printed, then cut it out. Kind of thing.
And almost every game that I've seen in development has a phase like this. Mm-hmm. And that is part of the process. It is not part of a Kickstarter.
Okay.
Unless he was going to say, I want to raise $2,000 so that I can get a prototype made.
Yeah.
I can get the artwork done enough to get a prototype made to then go to Kickstarter and have it look great.
But at how old are you? High school to college, 18?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
How much do you know about game development and design? You know what I mean? This kid isn't going to GAMA meetings and understanding like what the stages are of game development.
And I would definitely suggest if you are interested in game development that you listen to the podcast Ludology. Andrew Gertzen turned me onto that podcast. Okay. It's a great interview with game designers, their process, the tools that they use. What the interview with the Wingspan designer, she was talking about, the entire game is built in spreadsheets, right? So that every card is balanced. They can say like, here's one person's go in this card and it's balanced. Like it's not overpowered or underpowered. And then stuff that I've just learned is you can take spreadsheets and convert them over into InDesign and put your artwork in there and you've got a finished card and you don't have to create each individual one. You can keep updating and iterating, which is what I've been doing. And now Nick has put a monkey into my card deck.
I feel like the monkey should be our little mascot for this episode because the monkey has showed up a couple times.
I think so.
Not just the one sitting next to me.
Heyo. So anyway, so this may be an amazing game. I mean, I would actually kind of like hey, an arena-based board game, right?
Can we reach out to Jacob and be like, hey, for shipping, can you just send me the PDF and we'll like figure this out? Like, should we play it?
Maybe.
Okay. This feels very uncommittal.
Yeah.
But yet.
How much time do we have? Anyway.
In life or in the show? None.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, this could be amazing. And props to this kid for designing a game. I actually made my first RPG.
God. Please
tell
me about this. Please tell me about this. It's going to be priceless. I'm all ears. What was it about? Was there a monkey?
There was no monkey. It was about skateboarding in a dystopian future. Mm-hmm. Your armor class was based on how many like elbow pads and knee pads you had.
Makes perfect sense. I mean, if you don't have knee pads, you're one less AC.
Yeah,
am I right?
That's true. Mm-hmm. And at the time, AC went down because I was using Dungeons and Dragons rules, and it was
all backwards.
It was all backwards.
So, what was the chance of you being full plate on skateboard with penalties?
It was once you had the helmet on. It's like helmet, wrist guards, elbow pads, knee pads.
Copy.
Full AC.
Okay, and what was the goal? What were you supposed to do? How did you fight people?
Mostly fighting drug gangs.
It's all come together now. It really is. I'm seeing a lot more of what I understand from your Carbon 2185 play right now. Because you're the one who
I'm essentially playing that game I made in 7th grade.
Exactly. It's all coming together. Except now it was a scooter. And you're curing people who have drug addiction by just shooting them in the head.
And an interesting turn of events. The person who made our logo is actually the wife of the co-designer of that game.
Oh, God. It's a small and sad world.
It is. Mostly, yes, I just reached out on Facebook. Is anybody a logo designer? Anyway.
So what?
Anyway, so this game could be amazing. It obviously needs...
some polish. I think the text and the content needs to be a little more descriptive as far as like how are the mechanics working.
Yeah.
Or
actually, it sounded kind of interesting. right? Just the number of actions, what you can do with those actions, cooldown periods for your more powerful effects. Actually seems like a cool game.
Yeah. But again, at the top, I was guessing, I was like, so is this an arena battle where I think just that first paragraph needs a little polish, just to tell me like the who, what, when, where, why, how do you win kind of thing. Because once you read it, you now have to start pulling some of that information out of here. So,
yeah.
And I think this needs minis as well.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, actually, that's one thing they do have, is they actually have minis.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think minis are definitely mandatory here.
I don't know if they designed those minis.
Or
they
if they're
might have.
It's hard to tell with the image.
They're prototype characters.
Yeah, they are.
I wonder if that's... Anyway, that's pretty insane. It does have minis, so I'm surprised that it doesn't have 90,000 already.
You know what he needs to do? Lead with the minis.
Yes. Just do minis, and then and also includes a board game.
Yeah. Cool.
Potential.
Anyway.
There are some risks in backing this project. Might not fund.
No, I don't think it will fund. But I think it would be interesting if he did have a PDF of that. And also, too, if we could actually get that hand-drawn artwork.
Maybe he could draw like a logo for the mitten, which we should really change the name of. But anyway, let's move on.
Yep. So
we're gonna move on.
Renaud?
Yes.
Our interview with him. Do you want to tee this one up? Even though I think
he's French.
Yep.
He was on a cell phone.
Yep.
Internet was spotty.
Yep. Great. You're really selling it.
Content is good.
Absolutely.
So, interesting person, and an interesting world that it's turning out to be, and I am looking forward to seeing more.
Yeah, and I also think it's an interesting team that...
Yeah, because it is so it's Inkplot, which is a team of a handful of people. I like how they said normally live someplace, but are now stuck somewhere else because of COVID. You're like, oh, okay. That must be odd. Like if you were vacationing somewhere and you're just stuck.
Yeah. Now
living someplace, unless it's Bali, that would just be amazing.
Yeah, I know when people are, never mind, but just when they're like, does anyone want to give up their ticket? And you're like, I'm in Mexico. I don't have a problem with this. And then some people are like, I'm in South Dakota. You're like, get me the F out of here.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we are going to go jump to our interview with Mr. Bartens. Tall. All right, thank you. And we have joining us is Renaud Bartens. I think I said that right, maybe?
You did.
Close. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Fine in Canada.
You are staying quarantined and isolated?
Yeah, as I usually do, because I play a role-playing game all day.
So I think you are the person that is behind Exalted Vales.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm both the writer and the author of the book, and but I also part of the team, really at the core, with the people who help me for publishing, and of course the artists.
And what is Exalted Vales? So kind of tell me about the world in which the campaign lives, and just what people could expect if they kickstart this.
So first thing, the content of the book is pretty simple. We have one campaign, one full campaign that goes up to level 16, and to go along with it, because it's in a very special setting, in a special region, we have the other half of the book is to describe exactly what's in this very special setting. Mm-hmm. So it's just a guide of this region, the Exalted Vales.
Got it. And is it for D&D 5th edition?
Yes, it is fully compatible with the rules of 5e, but the part which present the region is like any DM can use it in every other kind of fantasy world they have.
So there's additional classes and races, things that people could take from this book and put in their world.
In the book, there is a part that can't be reused because we really go deep to be really 100% 5e compatible, like the new classes, the archetypes. But there is a large part of the book which is about the region and ideas and things to feel in the world. And that a DM can clearly reuse in any fantasy setting.
Got it. So that part of it isn't D&D 5e specific. You could use it for Pathfinder. You could use it for, first edition, second edition, anything, right?
Exactly, 100%. And of course, the campaign itself, when it goes down to NPC or some kind of precise explanation, sure, it's 5e, but it's also very easy to use for any DM who is comfortable with his own RPG.
What archetypes do you get? And then have you made new classes? What are the new classes?
I tried because obviously I love all this content. So I did one of everything. We have new classes, new archetypes, but also new background features. I love them. It's a small thing, but we also have this. And I can't present you everything because I'm a game designer. Mm-hmm. So this is for me the easiest part to do. So there is a lot of content in the book. So I will present you a few of them and why I went this way. So
yeah, just let's start with your favorite. Like, which one did you like to create the best? Which one is the best for you? Which is your favorite?
That's a hard question. Well, I'll go with a new race because it really illustrates one of the main points of Exalted Vales. So it's a new race called the Faithborn. And they are not really born. They are brought into existence because someone had a very deep will to something to happen. And that will was so strong that in this region where mysticism and magic can be very real, without it happened like a mother who really has an unbearable pain of losing her son can wish so much every day to have her son back. This Faithborn will appear and it will look like her son. So they are Faithborns. And first, it's really a new way to imagine a character, but also I like it personally because then you change the way how you work your backstory. It's not who are my parents, where I'm born, how I did my when I was young. No, it's why am I there? What happened? Who wished for me to exist? So that's it. That's the Faithborn.
So you may be Fateborn, but you may not be born to that person. So I could very much wish for someone to be there and they could be born on the other side of the world. And we would have to maybe find each other. That could be a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Even more, because that's an option for the players. He may even not know why he's born yet. So it can even be a quest for him, why I'm here. And he may be full of positive vibes. And then he may realize that he was born because someone hated someone else. Like this Lord, he needs to die. And then when he arrived in his village, people wished for him to come just to kill him. Oh, that could be a lot of discovering and a lot of work with the DM.
Right. That sounds super fun.
Yeah, it does. Any other classes? I mean, I read some of the stuff that you've done, and it's the machinist, right? That's a new class. Do you want to tell us a little about that?
Mechanist.
Yeah. How do you say it?
Mechanist. But we are not 100% sure for the final book because we removed the H from machine to make it a bit different. Okay. Yeah. But this one, yeah, is a class I like too because that's my personal taste right here. I love when things don't go exactly how it was planned or it's a bit strange. I think in RPG that's a fun part. So his main ability is to be able to shrink down objects in small kind of cubes, and then he can use them later and they take back their original size. And I think that brings a lot to of creativity. The player can really think, but he can't change the items. He needs like more than 10 minutes to change an object. So it's not like I take an object and I make it disappear. No, you have to prepare it in your belt. But then maybe what you need is not exactly the items you have shrink down are not exactly the one that would help you. So you have to improvise. Like, you really need a ladder, but you don't have a ladder. But if you have something that works a bit, but it's always going to be a bit strange for your fellow companions. Like, so, and we did a lot of playtests, and it was always, in the end, it's always a bit cartoonish, a bit funny. Like, it's
Right.
something else. It works a bit, yeah. So that's a very good part of this new class.
Cool.
That sounds like a lot of fun. So let's talk a bit about the book itself. So is this for a print run? And are you doing like a hardcover book or a soft cover? What does the book look like?
It's a hardcover and of course a PDF version. And that's it. We want it like high quality because obviously you have the core book, you can play, you don't need anything else. So in our mind, it's really like, this is extra stuff. You need something really beautiful. So we are going for high quality printing, hardcover, and as much illustration as we can. We're thinking 1 every 2 pages, if I can go, or minimum 1 every 3 pages.
Okay. And is that dependent, how much artwork, is that depending on how much you raise in the Kickstarter?
Yes, this and also because it's a question of budget, but not really depends the fund. It's when we will be working the final version. If I want a full double page colored with like a large CD of Lucerne, the one which is in the free scenario, that's a lot of time for the artist. So we may have to remove a few illustrations here and there to stay on the same budget.
So since we're building on a 5e world, essentially, is it easy for a new DM to pick up the book and run the campaign, or to pick up the scenario and run the campaign? Or do you suggest someone who has more experience run it?
That question has two answers. If we're really just talking about the campaign itself, read and run it, as people can already see in this introduction scenario we have free to download, I really take the time to talk with the DM and really say, I don't start with, it happens here, this NPC is here, he's doing that. No, first I have a full chapter always talking with the DM saying, that's my intention. I want your players to feel this, to feel that. And I'm doing this with this tool and this tool in the story. And now I will explain it to you. I will have the details. So I'm sure it's for any DM. The other thing, though, is we are going to talk about this, is what is Exalted Vales. And in Exalted Vales, I really want to change the way we are playing in a fantasy world with far more mysticism in the everyday life. And on that part, I think it's not about being an experimented DM, but you need to take time to really understand what is this setting, to have a nice flow when your players are in this world, because other way you will be caught. How do you say that? When you're not prepared, you're not ready to have all these small details ready for your players to really feel in this world. And this is the second part of the book. This is a guide. And for your question, maybe it's a bit harder to really take a full explanation and be ready to use it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's either that or maybe you just need to be a little bit more creative and have a theater background. It sounds like.
It's, if we can talk about this is a topic I could switch to to an important part of Exalted Vales. And I want to, as an example, in the role-playing game Numenera, I love the Numenera setting.
Okay.
But in Numenera, you're supposed to be in an incredible world full of technology people don't understand, but use in everyday life. And I myself DM'd a lot of Numenera, and very often on the fly, it's very hard to just say, in this street, you see people passing and they use and you like every second, imagine something which is crazy, both crazy, but people use in another way in their everyday life, which is more like a medieval technology level. It's hard. It's very hard. And this is what I want to do in Exalted Vales with a lot of example to help the DM. Is in Exalted Vales, the question is, what if mysticism and magic is just in everyday life, where mysticism transforms into something real? Not only the high priest can resurrect someone, that's one thing, but that's you in Lucerne, for example, the city of 1,000 oracles, everybody can have, there is so much energy for divination that it affects everybody. So we show a preview about this. We have a small guy who is doing small box, some wood box, and he sells them for 5 piece of gold. And what's inside is just, he used his precognition to try to guess what you will need when you will open it. Like a Schrodinger box. So players can use this, and in the rule, of course, to explain how I can do that, we just say in the rule, like in a meta gameplay, when you open the box, you just pick up any items in the player handbook list, which cost 5 golds or less, and it's inside.
Oh, nice.
That's just a small shop in the town, but that's the small details as a DM, maybe hard to imagine on the fly, and then you have in the book to help you many small details that would make your players smile and oh, okay. It's not much, but it gives it a special feeling.
That's good.
Yeah, cool.
So I was actually you talk about the song. I was reading through that introductory module, which we are playing
Thursday.
April 30th.
Sure.
I really like how you set that up early with those, like, these are the feelings, these are the things that I want, the tension level that I think should be there. I think that's really great to have in there as a DM, just to prepare me for playing. So I really like that aspect of that module. And from what I'm gathering, the rest of the campaign has very similar chapters. Is that true?
One thing, very important thing, we have a hard time because it's our first project on role-playing game, and we had to decide, is the free scenario going to be at the level of the campaign itself, which is very high standard in terms of complexity, NPCs, a lot of social interactions. They were like, this is a demo scenario. Everybody should be able to download it and play it for fun in a few hours. So we lower it down a bit. So just, you read it. There is something which is a bit strange and mystical that there is something to discover in the story, but the story itself, I wanted something simple so everybody can play it. So the rest of the campaign, I still want to have this, always trying to talk with the DM and explain what's in my mind, but just the level is a bit more complex, less linear.
So I have a question that just came up when you said that. You said, this is my first RPG. What did you do before that? And what made you say, I'm going to make Exalted Vales? Like, what was that thing?
Yeah, so first, I'm a game designer. I'm a lead game designer. I've been working for 15 years in the industry. And at the same time, all along my career, I'm playing role-playing game. I'm playing role-playing game all day. And what happened is just like, now I have the full team. I know a lot of artists. I have a lot of skills to do balanced rules. And we have this, I have this feeling that mysticism is not really at the core, or it can be explored. It can be explored a bit more, because this is just me, but often we are in our fantasy world, but except the fact that we know that some priests can resurrect people, which is impressive, but in everyday life, it almost looks like the god are not really here. You have normal inns, you have your arbor, you have ships, and like a normal medieval town. So I wanted to see, so what could it be? What could it be? And the other thing is, I had this really giant campaign. I've been playing like with 3 different groups. And after the third one, I talked with a friend and we said, maybe we should edit it. We should have it. We should have it for everybody. And I say, well, why not? We have the skill, we have the team. That's it.
So what were the challenges from saying we should edit it, from that point where you're like, we've got the team, we should edit it? What challenges did you have along the way to get from that thought, we should do this, to where you are today?
Well, almost none. And that's why I say, why not? Because when he talked to me, he's in the publishing industry. So he said, I can do the printing, the shipping, I quality control. He's publishing books for kids since a few years. So he knows exactly how we're going to do it. And for the artist side, for the illustration and everything, since many years, I'm in contact with a lot of artists. It will be even clearer when we will launch the Kickstarter page. So I have to stop him to put more. He wants to animate it each title. I'm like, that's okay. So yeah, we really went, and maybe that's why we started the project, because we were like, we have a green line on everything that is important in the project. We have arts, we have a campaign, we have an author, we have illustrator, publisher. That's it.
So who are the other key people on your team?
So we have William Martin, who is the guy who is working in the publishing, and we have a very talented artist, Alexander Torfanov, and you can see almost all the arts in the free campaign, free scenario is from him. And we have two other guys who is going to join us, two French people, Sébastien Offrère, and he has a ArtStation page as well, and Karl Lagadec, who is mostly working in the video game industry, but is old style, is more doing pixel art and things like this. So he's very good to hand drawing stuff.
Okay.
And your team is spread out then all over the world, right? Or...
Yeah. Well, because of the virus now, we have one member team who is in Thailand, which is not supposed to live there, but for now is. But yeah, we are mainly cut in between Montreal and France.
When we do giveaways, we ship to U.S. and Canada, but we exclude Quebec because of their lottery laws make giveaways difficult.
Okay.
So I just think
what's your point?
I have no point. I just think it's interesting. And they speak French.
So yeah, when do you plan on shipping the RPG? And just based on how the economy is going and how things are, going right now, do you foresee any issues with fulfilling your campaign, at least with the physical copies?
We decided to be on the safe part. I have written all the campaign, and we did a lot of playtest session for the rules. So I think we should be ready within a year. I think far less. But William Martin, who is responsible for the printing, it's still something he did in the past, but not in the same field. So he said, let's be safe. And so let's be honest, we just checked what kind of time usually RPG Kickstarter campaigns say. So they are on about 1 year for the delivery. So we will be a bit less than this because we have a lot of material already ready.
Okay.
So yeah, I say less than a year.
And why did you choose Kickstarter to, as the platform to launch your campaign, as opposed to just doing something on Drive-Thru RPG or, self-publish or something like that?
This one very simple question is just because we have material for the campaign, as I said, it's ready, but all for the arts and for all the formatting and all that stuff, we need funds because the book is not ready. It's not ready on its final form. So that's it. And for Drive-Thru or other publishers or platform for distribution, we may use them when the book is ready. We don't know exactly which one we'll take but it should be available somewhere else later.
Great. So, do you have anything else you want to tell our audience that might be interested in the Kickstarter?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. I just said we have our Facebook page already live. And we are a small team. And I think one thing I could say is just if anyone has any question, we are chatty people. If they want to ask anything or anything, we can talk. I love to do that. It's not like the giant company who just has advertisement and that's it. We are here and we are available.
So where do people reach out to you? Are you about Twitter? Are you Discord? Where can people find you?
I'm too old for this. I'm Facebook.
All right. So the Exalted Vale Facebook page, is that what it is?
Yep.
Exalted Vale Old People Facebook page. That's what it is.
That's it.
All right. Well, cool. So thank you, Renaud. We really appreciate you joining us. I look forward to running a small group of people through this.
Yep. I look forward to destroying your world with my chaotic ways.
It will not happen. It will blend in perfectly.
I'm just saying, I have Firebolt and Magic Missile. What could go wrong?
True.
Yeah.
I need to do something that's a fireball.
All right. So cool. Thank you. And be sure to we'll let everybody know when your campaign is live.
Yep. We'll definitely link to all that information below. So thank you.
Thank you very much to you.
And we're back. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. And also I hope that you will enjoy our destruction of Renaud's world on
And name.
Yeah, and that too. And name and native language and all the other terrible things that we do. Over on our Twitch channel on Thursdays. I don't know what day we're playing anymore besides
14th.
just the 13th. Okay,
May
so the
14th.
The 14th. And if you don't see it live on Twitch, it is on YouTube as well.
Yes, it is in our one-shots and short shots. One-shots and short shots.
Shouldn't have named it that.
Playlist.
Shit shots is where I feel that was going.
Also on the short shots podcast.
Oh, yeah. This thing shows up there. Anyway, so that's it this week. Too much talking. Thanks very much.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye.